Welcome everyone to the V8 Supercar official online series presented by Iracing.com. Extreme Sim Gear and Direct Clutch Services, Jay Kennedy and Stephen Sandman Clark joining you after a little bit of a break. Good to have you back, Sandman.
You too, Bunny. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all the rest of it. It's good to be back, finally back racing after a couple of weeks off, and here we are at Mosport. Should be a good race.
Yeah, definitely. It's shaping up to be a pretty good one. We've got John Emerson in for our hot lap tonight as well. G'day, John.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, mate. Welcome along.
Yeah, cheers.
And first one for the year, so a little bit of pressure.
Yeah.
Just now that we're live, I can say that.
Yeah, thanks. That's really nice of you.
No worries, mate. When you're ready, do your lap, because you look like you're ready to go, nearly.
Yeah, no worries. Just a bit of traffic. Alright, Mosport's a pretty tricky track. It's all about keeping a nice flow going, which I'm really bad at, so this is going to be a really good lap. I might just sit behind these guys. Alright, so fourth gear for the first turn. Keep it nice and tight. I'll be really gentle on the throttle out of the corner because the rear likes to step out a fair bit. Up to fifth. Back down to fourth. Again, sort of keep it tight, keep the car sort of flowing, a little bit of throttle. Then punch it on the exit. Back to third. I like to keep it tight here, but there's a fair few different lines through the corner. Really gentle on the throttle again out of this. This one's a nice fun blind corner. I dropped to fourth, but other guys stay in fifth. Poor Des is getting the shock of his life. Up, there he goes. Nice and smooth through there, smooth on the throttle. Pull all the gears through here nice and easy. Time for a bit of a breather, let the tyres cool off a little bit. Into the nice flowing last section. I go back 2 gears here, keep it nice and tight again. Don't overwork the tyres. Back to third for the left. I hold in third down here for the right. Just keeping it nice and smooth. Don't want to step the rear out too much. And that's a lap of Mosport.
Not too bad a lap either, 120.3, so that's a pretty good race pace lap.
I got race fuel in. I'll take that.
Considering you didn't really want to do it, you were a bit under pressure.
Yeah. No, it's good fun.
Nice work, mate. Now, everyone's had a couple of weeks off. How have you found sort of getting back into the groove again after a little bit of time away? How's your preparation been through the week preparing for Mosport?
Pretty horrible, actually. After 2 weeks of not driving the car at all, not even sitting in the seat, it took me a good 3-4 hours to actually get sort of back up to speed, and I don't think I'm still quite near where I was probably 2 weeks ago at Mategi. I thought I had a pretty good pace there, but this week, yeah, I've got absolutely nothing. I've got the same sets as the fast guys and just not driving as fast. So, but I'm doing all right. I'm holding my own, so all I can really ask, I guess.
Now, championship-wise as well, you're sitting pretty nice. I think you're P5 at the moment. Be pretty happy being up that high.
I think I'm back to P6 now after that early race. I was my target this season was to beat Brad, and he's gone off over to New Zealand for a month or something. So I think I've got him pegged, which is really good. But I was really close to Vale, my teammate, there for a little bit, and he's just got a nice little buffer on me again.
Now we're heading into the final qualifying session before the last race, mate. What are your plans for qualifying? You have another crack, or are you just going to sort of work on car setup?
Nah, I'm just going to sit and watch, I think. I've done a fair few qualies this week and haven't improved on the time that I did in, I think it was yesterday. So, yeah, no, I'll just sit and watch and hope nobody jumps me. Bit worried about Mitch, actually. I think he might pull out a good time in this next quali session.
Yeah, he hasn't done any practice all week, and he's already punching out pretty quick times, so definitely going to be one to watch in this last qualifying session.
Yeah, gotta hate that, gee.
I've been saying that ever since I saw him jump online this afternoon. Nothing more frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you get to race over the Christmas break at all, John?
No, I went back out to my parents' place for Christmas, and they don't really have a strong internet connection, and I can't really lug the sim out there. So yeah, stone cold break for 2 weeks. But yeah, so nothing. I had a bit of a go at the McLaren, but yeah, that's about it.
Did it hurt? I know I'd struggle.
Oh, it's pretty tough. I mean, this is a lot of fun. It's really hard when you walk away from it for a bit.
It's actually the same thing I've been hearing. A couple of guys that I've spoken to, in the little break, it's like, it's not fair. I mean, obviously everyone's got family commitments this time of year with Christmas and New Year and all the rest of it, but being away from our sims and getting back into a decent race rhythm and finding that speed again, sometimes, people just think you can just jump straight in and hit the go fast button, but it's not always like that, is it?
Oh, unless you're Mitch or Madison or Justin or Hammer. I don't think Hammer's done any practice for the past 2 weeks, and he's already on Madison's tail. Yeah, so for some I think it's quite easy. For others it's quite difficult. For me it's quite difficult anyway.
Yeah, me too. So I've struggled to get back into the groove, but yeah, it's definitely good to be back. It's good to be talking again on a Monday night. I've really missed it.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, guys. Looking forward to watching it later.
And we're not all that far from wrapping the season up. Obviously, having 2 weeks away, I think we've only got, including tonight, is it 3 rounds to go?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and it's nice and close at the front of the championship as well. So over the next couple of rounds, we'll see the top 3 or 4 really start to consolidate, and it'll be very, very close come the final round too.
Yeah, well, we were talking earlier. Madison hasn't won a race this season, I think.
He won the early race tonight. That's his first win this season, and it's the first time ever that the 5-time champions, round 10, he's only just won his first race, so it's quite amazing.
No, well, so yeah, it's going to be really close in the championship, actually. It depends if Scotty comes back. I mean, he probably won't, but actually, if he's not back tonight, then yeah, he's probably got no chance. But yeah, if Scotty came back, and it was going to be pretty much a 3 or 4 way up the top.
It was actually looking a bit scary, at the start of the season, where Scotty just absolutely cleaned up the first part of the season, and obviously with his 2013 commitments, he's got a deal with Gary Rogers. He's packed up from Queensland, moved to Melbourne, and I think at the moment his sim is still sort of in transit, I think, as we speak. So, yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we'll see him for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. He's a pretty good competitor, pretty hard competitor to race against. Always likes to have a bit of fun. Little push and shove, likes to niggle.
It's not a bad sacrifice, though, is it? Packing up your sim for a couple of weeks to get a full-time V8 Supercar drive?
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
Thanks for joining us tonight, mate, and no doubt we'll talk to you either after the race or in the coming weeks.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Have a good call.
Thanks, mate.
All the best, mate.
Cheers.
Over the Christmas break, we had 2 rounds of the championship. The Christmas round was at Spa-Francorchamps, and the Monday night races didn't get a lot of support being on Christmas Eve, but the night before the Sunday night races, Renz Brookman and Justin Ruggier picked up wins in those. So that was pretty advantageous for both those guys in the championship. Then the following week, last week, we went to Oran Park, but a lot of the top guys decided not to race. So that actually leaves it almost as a debut round for a lot of guys for next season, which should be good.
Yeah, a bit of a shame that we actually missed out on now you say it's going to be a debut for next season, but yeah, it would have been nice to have Oran Park in the championship for this year, but never mind, we'll look towards next season.
Yeah, looking forward to next season already, but before we get to that, we've also got Race of Champions coming up as well. Getting a bit excited about Race of Champions?
Yeah, you should, mate. It's your turn to slip out of the commentary box and into a nice, hot, sweaty race car. So
yep, fail miserably.
You'll be looking forward to it, no doubt, buddy.
I'm really excited about it. I don't get to drive a lot of other cars, so yeah, I'm sort of looking forward to it. A lot of different faces I think we'll see in the next Race of Champions as well. So a lot of guys unable to commit because it's over the Australia Day weekend. But that's a good thing because it means I'll have all day Monday to practice being a public holiday. So that should be good fun. Always got to look at things, don't we?
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's such a unique race format too, and something that I think a lot of the members have really taken to it because it's so unique. Different cars, different track combos, and no one absolutely knows what track and car combo we're going to have up until an hour before the race, which I think is just fantastic.
Well, actually, it's a little bit sneakier this time. We won't actually know what tracks at all until an hour before. So the cars that we could potentially be driving are the Chevy Impala Class B, so that's the nationwide NASCAR, the Legends Ford 34 Coupe, the McLaren MP4, which is an amazing car on iRacing. If you haven't had a drive on that on iRacing yet, make sure you get out and have a go. The Pontiac Solstice, and the Lotus 79. So those are the 5 cars. One of those is a mole car, and we don't know any track at all.
I love it. I reckon it's great. And it's easy for me to say I love it because I get to sit back in the commentary box this season.
Thanks, mate. It's all right, you're back for Race of Champions 4, don't worry.
Bring it on.
Now, we will quickly talk about, we've got a bit of a special announcement coming very, very soon regarding sponsorship for the broadcast. So we can't mention too much as of yet, but hopefully, fingers crossed, next week we'll have a very major announcement regarding our broadcasts, which I'm looking forward to. You don't actually know anything about this yet, Sam, man. So
No.
I've got to be very, very secretive. I might fill you in later on.
Fair enough. That's actually, yeah, it is the first time I've heard about it. It's fantastic news. It's good to see that yeah, someone will have some involvement with the broadcast, which is absolutely fantastic.
I can't say who it is, but it's someone that's very, very prominent in the V8 supercar community. That's all I'll say. All I'll say.
Oh, I want to know. I want to know.
Tell you later. Yeah, we're not far away from qualifying at the moment, as John Emerson touched on before. Madison Down currently on pole position. Second position, Richard Hampstead is a little bit behind. He's over 2/10 behind. That's probably the biggest gap we've seen in probably 2 or 3 seasons, actually, from first back to second.
Yeah, it's not a bad margin, is it? And yeah, just as John touched on before, other than the race that just wrapped up not long ago, Madison's gone winless this season. So yeah, he's actually had good pace in throughout the week and put a great time together. And I think he's looking to you know, chalk up a win in the official race in a little bit in over half an hour time.
Now, also over the off season, he actually became Madison Town's teammate. Sam, man, congratulations on picking up a drive for the Trans-Tasman Racing Rising Stars, I believe it's called.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thanks, mate. It was announced New Year's Day and came to a bit of a surprise because there was a lot of people that were in the running for it. And yeah, to get the drive with Trans-Tasman and be part of the Rising Stars program with Hyper Simulator, it's fantastic. And yeah, had my first race, official race yesterday and today. And yeah, so far so good.
Not wrong, so far so good. First race, you get a podium.
Yeah, it was great. It was really good racing.
I forget what a podium is now. We'll go through the rest of qualifying just while we wait for pictures to come through from qualifying. So Richard Hampstead in second. Then it's Justin Ruggie, Vale Riches, John Kelly, John Emerson, John Latham, Mitch McLeod, Michael Fabian, and Wayne Tolley, the top 10. Fairly wide split, considering it's a very, very tight track with a lot of tight racing. I'm actually surprised at the split of the times at the top of the field.
Yeah, well, we're looking at 1.1 seconds for the top 20. So yeah, I think there was a few surprises there time-wise, but yeah, I think Madison's done his homework, and you know, it's not all over. I mean, Richard Hampstead, Justin Ruggie, they've all put in great times, and it's a different story, you know, qualifying to race pace. Anything can happen during the races, so we'll just wait and see.
One thing that I know Madison's probably not going to want me to talk about this, but Madison not the best off the start line, and Richard very, very good off the start line. So I guess the advantage for here is you really need to be on the inside into turn 1 at this track because it narrows up quite quickly.
And it is a tough track to pass on too. I mean,
Very.
I know, you know, we both cut laps through the week and all the rest of it, and you find yourself in traffic, and it's not one of the easiest places to pass. I mean, the only thing that can make it a little bit easier for you if you get a bit of a toe down that back straight, but other than that, it's you just really got to wait for someone to make a mistake sometimes.
Or like you, just bump draft down the straight. That's the way you do it. We were watching. Just getting ready for pitches to start coming through from the final qualifying session. Drivers to watch in this session will be Justin Ruggie, looking to improve. He needs 400ths of a second jump to second on the grid. And Mitchell McLeod also probably the one to watch. Only done the one qualifying session, already finds himself in 8th position.
It's not too shabby, is it?
Oh, I'm not talking to him anymore. I'm disgusted. Just about to get pictures through from this final qualifying session. not far away. Quite a few drivers have signed up for this as well. We've got 34 drivers entered in this session.
Yeah, it's good. It's the last chance where these guys actually get to make a couple of tweaks on their car and see if they can actually make that last, minute advance through the field. But you'll find some of these guys will use it, as a practice session. But I think these guys will probably have a good red hot go, seeing that, we've been out of the seat for a couple of weeks. And, like I said, the last chance to move up a couple of spots on the grid and can be quite valuable, especially around here.
Be a lot of commitment in this session. I can pretty much guarantee that. There'll be some guys pushing very, very hard to get those couple of final hundredths of a second. Not talking tenths, we're talking hundredths. So looks as if Justin Ruggie will probably be the first of the main drivers to start his hot lap. Sorry, Richard Hampstead will be. Actually gone out pretty quick. It looks like he might actually be on race trim at the moment. That tells you pretty quickly who's going to be pushing for that lap time and who's not.
Yeah, we spoke about how valuable it is just to take it easy on these tyres, keeping the pressures down and keep the temperature out of these tyres. It's really a huge gain. So if he's already not on a hot lap, it's definitely not going for a quick qualifying time.
Yeah, the speed he's out there on the track at the moment is definitely on a race simulation. So I'm pretty sure Madison Down will be as well. I don't think Madison will be too worried about what's going on around on the track around him.
Yeah, nice little margin to have up his sleeve, 2/10 coming into this final qualifying session. Worst case scenario, I mean, if a couple of guys found some real pace in this last session, he'd probably only drop maybe 1 or 2 spots, worst case scenario. So he'd be pretty happy coming into this final qualifying session, I would imagine.
Justin Ruggie are about to start his flying lap. Want to stay on board with Justin Ruggie for this hot lap.
It's actually great to see these guys on a hot lap. You can actually see their race lines and where they position the car, and really, I'll be quiet for a moment here, but just listen to the throttle application that these guys do.
Waited till the car was straight before he planted the throttle. He just feathering it, then planted it the second it was straight.
Yeah, and it's such a huge advantage down this straight. If you can get on the power just that fraction before anyone else, you can really carry that speed all the way down here.
Interesting to see what gear ratio is running there. On the limiter, a lot of guys be running a little bit longer ratio with boarding his laps. Lost a little bit of time at the end of turn 9 there. McLeod, he's already aborted his lap. He's now starting his out lap. Madison Down doing what looks like is race simulation at the moment. Doesn't look like he's driving the car aggressive enough to say it's a race, a qualifying time. Dang, that he still goes to P1 in the session.
Yeah, just a lazy old 19.4.
I'd take it. I'd take a 20.4, it's okay. Simon Black on a hot lap at the moment as well.
Oh, yeah, you can see Simon moving around a little bit, getting the throttle down. So important out of that last turn down that back straight. We spoke about if you just excite the rears, you can really give up, a couple of tenths down that back straight.
Yeah, Moss is such a crucial corner on this track. It's really, really tough to get that planted on exit with the double apex as well. Blind second apex. Probably the toughest corner. Well, one of the toughest corners we get to in the series. That's really, really aggressive from Simon. This is the line of 20.3. We've got Sean Kelly now on screen. Just started his hot lap.
Oh, on exit, that was rough. I think he'll have bought that because
Yeah.
it's cost him a huge amount of time.
He's just going to try and get out of the driver behind's way and he'll end that lap. That was a big moment.
Yeah, he did a good job to hold on to it. The last thing you want to do is get the rears off, especially around here. There's so much grass, and I've had it in practice where if you touch the grass and go for a slide, sometimes you feel like you slide forever.
Oh no, see if we can go to Mitchell McLeod, who's on his flying lap at the moment. There's so many curves that you really have to be aggressive on, but you take it a little bit too far and you're gone. You've ruined your lap. You're out of the race. You're into the fence. Needs to be careful with internet issues. He might actually not get this lap time to count. Nice drift out of the final corner. 19.1. Good lap time. Go to the other Mitchell in the field, Mitch Abril. Currently P11 on the grid at this stage. Just got pipped out of the top 10 in the last qualifying session by McLeod. 119.3, I think, off the top of my head.
Just while we're watching Mitch Abril, Justin's gone fastest in this session, 18.721.
That's actually PB as well, or qualifying best. 18.731 was his best before this session. Abril does a 19.69, so that's not enough to improve. Best of the week at 19.264. Go to Matthew Barron. Only decided to race an hour ago. Done no practice all week, so I'm interested to see how he goes. He's already into the 1 minute 20s, so not doing too bad considering no practice.
I love this racetrack. There's so many different undulations and different turns, and like it's got a little bit of everything, this place, and you know, it really rewards a driver that can you know, have a decent car set up and not be too aggressive on the throttle. It's really unique in some of these spots.
Yeah, it's probably the most rewarding track we go to in the series. You get your lap right, you feel like a superstar. You get it wrong, you look like an idiot. So as you'd imagine, I've looked like an idiot many times this week. None more than usual, though, so. Been nice tidy lap from Barron. It doesn't look like it'll be overly quick, though. Hasn't been too aggressive on the curbs. 20.4. Not too bad a lap. We'll see if we can go to Justin Ruggie. You're about to start his flying lap.
Bit of confidence, you know, coming up to this lap. Like you said, he's already improved on his time for the week. So even though it was only a tiny margin, but knowing that he's actually gone that little bit faster will be, yeah, it'll be a real shot in the arm. So it'll be interesting to see what this lap produces.
That tiny little bit of motivation. You doubt yourself if you can't match a time that you've done or get anywhere near your optimal lap time, and then all of a sudden you punch out a time that's close or just beats it. Just gives you that extra little bit of motivation to keep pushing.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So to the first checkpoint, he's actually ahead of the lap previous. That's a promising start.
The car looks real good too. It's sitting well, it's out of the corners well, it's not moving around. He's really, even out of there, like no movement in the rear end, really nice controlled lap.
You're
And a
actually
toe.
talking, yeah, a bit of toe from his team boss. That's the way he wants it.
Fantastic. And that'll be big here. So nice bit of work there. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Don't know if it's going to help him too much because he's on the limiter. Losing a bit of time there in comparison to a couple of the other guys being on the limiter. He's actually down, pretty much the same time actually at the second checkpoint. Nice exit of the final corner.
Yeah, he looked real good
he's
out of that turn.
improved.
18.6. Nice
That
job.
puts him to P2.
18.664. He'll be stoked about that. And if he
lap.
didn't make that gear change and not been on the rev limiter, that could have been just a little bit more.
That toe could have made all the difference. That 3/100ths of a second is all he needed. And Hampstead now back to P3.
Fantastic. Oh, Justin will be stoked with that.
Madison down, still P1. Highly unlikely he'll get beaten in this session. Currently his time is a 1:18.490. We're actually not far away from the old world record times that we used to see with the old tyre model. So that's how fast these guys are going now. The setup work that these guys do has got these guys almost back to where we were before we changed the tyre, which gained or actually lost us around about a second to a second and a half a lap.
Oh, Osborne, big moment, and he'll have to abort that one, unfortunately. It's quite impressive.
Too much rear brake. Sorry,
mate.
Sam.
I was going to say, it's quite impressive, isn't it, where some of these guys are really punching out some of these numbers. It's it can actually be a bit depressing for some of us that are back in the field too.
Oh. Go to the newest member of the Extreme Sim Gear team, Mark Anderson. Ando. So, been around the traps on iRacing for a while. Fairly new to the big boat that we drive. But good to see him out there, and he's quite competitive. He's not overly happy with his pace at the moment, but name that we'll see in the top split for a little while, I believe. Now, I think Richard Hampstead's chucked on his qualifying setup because, he's nearly got taken out behind.
Kelly! Was that Kelly behind him? Had a huge moment.
Locked it up and got it on the grass and wasted the back of Hampstead. Hampstead's now doing qualifying runs. Hampstead's seen that Justin's beaten his time and's gone, oh no, I better put in the last dash attempt to try and get my P2 back.
So the time he needs to beat is an 18.664 to get that spot back. Ideally, he'd love to do better than an 18.4 to get pole position, but I think he'd be quite content just to get P2 back at this stage.
Yeah, currently he's sitting on an 18.699. He wants to get another 18.6. I don't think he's going to do it this lap.
No,
That's something we'll see. That's the end of that lap. That's something we'll see during the race too. I'm sure we'll see at least one driver do that in the race at some point.
It's so easy to do too, because you're pushing the car and you're trying to give it you're trying to let it drift out so you're not scrubbing off too much speed, and it only takes you just to get a fraction into the dirt and it's a day over.
Big mover at the moment, John Latham, a 1:18.981. That moves him up. No, it doesn't move him any positions. He's still 1/100th of a second behind John Emerson, so still P7, but that's a big time gain.
It's good to see all these times actually these guys are belting out. They're having a red hot go, and it's good to see. They're not mucking about, because we're 14 and a half minutes just gone in this session, so not too much longer for these guys to have a red hot go.
Latham, a name I think we'll have to keep our eye on over the coming weeks and months. Definitely up there in the top every cup or every race now, and consistently top 10, top 12 in qualifying. So keep our eye on him. And we're watching Chris Osborne at the moment. Currently P8 in the session with a 19.5. I'll find him in the list. I think that's actually his best time for the week. Oh, that was a little bit close there between a couple of ANZ cars. Thread the needle there. Doesn't look like it's cost him any time. He's still nice and smooth in the car. It looks like a nice smooth lap. 19.3.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good pickup. 19.312. Very good.
Gained a lot of time in that last sector. Okay, Justin Ruggie are about to start his lap.
He actually did really well because it can be a bit of a distraction when you've got a couple of cars. Like he had a moment there where he threaded the needle between the ANZ cars and, you know, not to be distracted by that and not lose time. He did really well.
That lap moves Osborne up to P12. It's gone from not even being in the top 25 to P12. Great lap.
His Ruggie
Justin.
Yeah, it's moving around a lot more this time than it was the last lap we were watching.
Pushing really hard. He's actually ended his lap. Slowing down to give his teammate a bit of a tow.
That's it. He's going to help with the tow a little bit, move out of the way. And Clayton will go right on past.
We'll see if we can just go back a little bit. Richard Hampstead on a flying lap. Setting personal best or session best sector times. Might actually been balked though. Hampstead, so not sure. Still pushing on, so his lap time must be pretty close.
Oh, I hear the short shift coming out of that last turn.
Like that lap. He slows down and still gets a 19.7.
You want to kill him, don't you?
Oh. Not fair. Rob Hartley. Probably the star of Racer Champions 1 and 2. Unfortunately, he won't be able to race in Racer Champions 3. But he'll be watching the broadcast, Sam, man, so...
Very good.
What we want.
Yeah, I've done a number of races with Robert, and yeah, he's got good pace, and yeah, it's a shame he's missing out, but at least he'll be able to catch all the action here on V8sonline.
Yeah, it's going to be one fantastic event. It's only 3 weeks away. Sunday the 27th, Monday the 28th, January, 7 p.m. Sydney time. Worldwide field once again. We've got pro drivers from Europe joining us. We'll hopefully have some American drivers. Be a good one again. Laps look pretty good from Hartley.
Yeah, I was just watching it through that double apex. He did really good, had the car positioned well, and got the throttle down without the rear end stepping out, and he'll be definitely carrying some good speed down this straight.
19.648 is his best time this week. He's already beaten that in the session, sorry, 19.518. He's moved from 22nd up to 19th. It'll be 20th actually after Osborne's time, or a little bit.
Yeah, big moment.
There it goes.
That all started when he clipped that inside curb coming onto the front straight. It upset the car, pushed him wide, and then it was all over. A bit of a shame there.
Justin Ruggie is starting his lap, but he's just drifted it through turn 2, and that's the end of his qualifying run. He'll turn this into a nice drift lap.
Yeah, as he does.
The Dunlops won't be used again.
And that's it for him, because we're only, 40 seconds left in this session. So,
it's going to come down to Hampstead now. Simon Black starting his lap. Richard Hampstead pacing himself. He'll cross the start-finish line with about 10 seconds to go on the clock.
Yeah, timed that beautifully.
Really interesting watching the line that guys take through turn 2 and turn 3. There's so many variations.
Yeah, and just listening, we were on board with Ruggie and we heard him bouncing off the rev limiter. People just, little things like playing with gear ratios and stuff. That's something I didn't do through the week. But, there's some guys that will make those little changes for qualifying as far as, compared to their race setup. So it's actually good to see some of the different things that these guys are trying.
Oh, I thought that would have been what you were doing over at TTR. I thought you would have been all over changing your gear ratio for qualifying. Oh, Black nearly into the fence.
Maybe the others, but not myself. I was quite happy with just getting my head around the car for this week.
Hampstead's improved a personal best first sector. Big bounce off the curb. He's going to push this lap on. Session best second sector for himself. He's about 1/10 of a second behind Justin's lap in this session. This last sector of the track, you can gain 1/10 quite easy in this final corner alone.
Oh, he just missed the apex and he's gone. That's it. Missed the apex, couldn't get the car back on track. Unfortunately, that's ruined that lap.
That was very, very committed by Richard.
Having a real red hot go.
I think that pretty much ends qualifying. Mitch McLeod coming around to finish his final flying lap, but I don't think it'll be an improvement. A little bit off the pace looking at the timing sheet. He's not pushing overly hard, so I don't think it will be an improvement. But a productive session for quite a lot of drivers.
Yeah, the biggest gainer with that was Ruggier. Moved into
Yep.
P2, 18.664, so he'll be wrapped with that.
Yeah, also John Latham gained a lot of time, and Chris Osborne as well gained quite a few positions.
Well, it's all shaping up to be a good race. You know, we saw a nice race earlier where we sort of kicked back and watched a little bit, and guys put on a good show. But no doubt, you know, a couple of positions changing up and through the field, and no doubt we're in for a ripper.
We'll go through the official top 10 now that's been finalised. So it'll be Madison Down from Justin Ruggier, Richard Hampstead, Vale Riches, Sean Kelly, John Emerson, John Latham, Mitch McLeod, Michael Fabian, and Wayne Tolley, the top 10. Shaping up to be a good one, Sam, man.
Not wrong. The guys have got their work cut out for them. 25 laps, and depending on what part of the country you're in, it's still a little bit warm around here. So, yeah, these guys are going to have their work cut out for them. No pit stops this time round, unfortunately, but still going to make for a cracking race.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Stick around. We'll be back in around about 8 minutes' time with the main event. You're watching V8sonline's live broadcast of the Iracing.com V8 Supercar official online series.